In this video, we're going to focus on, or we will continue on the point of sale system, and this is part 14. So in here, we're going to now really work on an item that has been requested for a while, and I know that many people are requesting for that, which is how can we put in basically here a plus and minus button where we can increase or decrease the value of a specific item. To do this, because this is a quite complicated matter, so we're going to break it down step by step, but it will mean you're going to do some adjustment within our current existing code. If you don't want this, then I would highly recommend you can just skip this specific video, because there will be another video where I will cover the other items such as the receipt, and we have still the counter that we have to build on. So there's still a lot of work we have to do, but I know that many people want this one. I thought, all right, let's start to work on this now. Although this will probably be 2 or 3 videos in total because it's a complicated matter. So let's start and look at what we need to do first. So when we have this here, if you understand the logic what we did before here, we have added consistently an item in here. And what we did was, if we scroll down here somewhere, let's go to the JavaScript section. Here we had like the so-called push item. In this case now, and this is very important, if you work with a database, you will assume that you get an ID number from a database with the image, matching image name, matching item name, and the price. You will extract that and put it in here. So there will be an ID number. We will use the ID number in our work now. So we might need still the order array or order ID array. We might still need this because this will just calculate how many items we have. But we might adjust it afterwards. So let's start to work on it, because this will be really more advanced, and I also have to really consider and have to think it through how we're going to do it. First thing what I want to do here is to add up a new item. I will call this the order. And then instead of I'll just copy here item, order item ID array. So it's not the ID array, which is an automatically calculated version. This will be basically a value that we will assign to the item based on our database. So what we need to do here is create another item here, or basically this. Then we say here item ID, that will be probably fine. So order item ID, and then here order item ID, we can just grab this. We'll just put it in here, and we say dot push, and basically our push here will be based on the item name, item ID. Sorry, make sure it's item ID. What I will do is I'll just put that here below. So that's another item. However, I'll just put an enter between here so you know that this is another item here. So what we need to do now, of course, this needs to reflect on our specific item here. So I'm going down here or into the options here in our order basket. So we have here the pizza. Then of course what we want to do here, let's give an ID name, and this will be just a number because it's a number. This can be number 1, 2, 3, whatever in your ID. So it doesn't matter here. So but I'm just going to get some random numbers. Okay, so let's say this is number 12. And I'll say here this will be number 13, but they must be unique. And the reason why, because this is from an ID here, 14, and then we can just say this one should be, who knows, maybe this is number 1. It doesn't matter here at all. And then number 2, and then finally here number 3. All right, so I just give some random numbers here. For this one, I'll just make it simple. So here's the question, and you have to really consider this. Are we going to combine these arrays together? Or basically, it could be one database, or there will be 2 databases. One with complete food related, and the other one completely on drinks related. In this case, I want to make it as simple as possible. I will put everything equal to it. If you want to have them separated, you must really think through how this will work out, because right now our entire structure is based on assuming that everything is identical to each other, or it's just one database. So I'm going to say here, well, we had 3, so let's say this is 4, comma, and I say here 5, comma, and then this, we just number them up here. 6, this will be number 7, and then we have here, that's it. All right. So if I save this now, we should have everything ready. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to go back to our JavaScript section where we have the arrays here. Then we have to really work from here, and then we have the order array here. What I want to do here is the item ID is this comma. Alright, so I need to really figure out here. Now if I save this here and refresh, probably you will not notice here anything, but if I do a console log here at the bottom, let's do a console log here, order array ID. Oh, there's already a console log. So if I open up this here, we should see here now we get all of this. Alright, what I want is specifically the order array here. Is the order ID array. Just put in this here, console log. Make sure that the log here is correctly spelled. Save this, semicolon save, refresh. If we press this now, you can see here now we have the IDs in here. Let's double check how this really works. And I realize that these are now being all connected together. Probably not really what we want. Although this is alright. This doesn't matter so much because we have the most important one is probably the order name ID. If I save this one, am I correct? This is the order item array, or that's this one here. I realize that this should maybe just be highlighted in a capitalized letters. And if I copy this one, let's put that all and fix this correctly. Order name ID should be this. Refresh here. Now press this. There we are. We get the IDs here. So this is very important information now, because now we can start to eventually look. So what I need to do here first is really to add in here button, because this button we're going to add up here would be a plus and minus, but there will be two items. First of all, we can increase it by pressing the plus. Secondly, if we keep on clicking or pressing or clicking on the minus button, eventually we hit 0. When we have 0, we must remove the item. So that will mean that when we hit 0, it should respond identical to this here, like that. So they just remove the item. So this is a quite complicated process because basically we have two items here. So let's start and work on how we can do that right now. So let's see. First of all, what we need to do here is basically at the plus and minus button, we have to include these. This is probably the most challenging part because this is working with a specific item. Let's see where we are in here, where we have to attach it. So we have to do some puzzling basically. So to do this, I'm going to use this inspector button. I'm just going to check here. What are we going to do in here, or how is this really built? Because it's been a while since we work on this. So basically we have here this list item, and this list item here, we have this span, and then basically in this span there is a button that's the ending here. So in this list item, after this button here, we can put in another item. So basically below here we could do plus and minus. I think that would probably make the most sense. So we're going to do that one here. So let's look at it. We have this button, we have the delete button that would be in here. Then we append here the item, and then we have the attach append li tag child. So I will pause the video for a minute just to really think through how we're going to do this. Alright, so what we're going to do is basically the following. What we want to do is basically have two buttons here. So when we click on this, we should have two buttons here, a plus and minus. So let's first start to create the buttons here. I will just put it here below, and I'll call this the button section here, because everything in here will be used. And I'll just put it all concise together. So first thing what we're going to do here is I'm just going to copy this specific item because we're going to create an element, and this element is called the button. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in two buttons here, and just to make it easy, I will call this a decrement button, and then we have an increment button. So what's the meaning of decrement? Decrement is declining. Basically you could say decline, but you have increment and decrement. I thought that would be probably a better way of naming them, or naming them. So we have the decrement button equals create an element button. And then we have this one here. Next, what we want to do is we want to attach them. To attach them, we're going to put it in the order list. Remember, the delete button was at the very end. So this was the order item. We have the order item, and then we have the order list, all right? What I'm going to do here, let's see, what is the order list, just to be clear. The order list, we have this here. Let's click on this. We have the span. Is there a specific term for this? No. After the button, we will attach this. So let me check. What is the order list here? I thought I just double check it, but apparently I just didn't check this order list item. Order list. Order list is the list item. Alright, so this is probably, no, or sorry, order list is the, let order list get element by ID. Alright, so that's not what I want. I want the order item. Sorry. Make sure you have this one. Very important. Because we want to put it in the list item, which is the order list. This is the order list here. Alright, because if you, or sorry, not the order list, the order list item, what is that? The order item. Because if we have here the order list, that is the ID of the UL or the unordered list tag. So that's completely everything. No, we want to match them together in here. So we have here the order item, and then we say here append child. We're just going to grab this, we say dot append child, and in here all I want to do is I want to we do plus first, and afterwards we're going to do the decrement. So we're going to give this, and then we say decrement at the very next point. Save this, refresh, press. Alright, we got this. Then I do notice here we need to probably have like an enter or something, because you can see here this will not work well because it should be down here. So how are we going to do that? We should have maybe added a break in there. So what I'm going to do here is the following, and I guess what we can just do, just for the sake of it, just to make it easier, here I'm just going to say here, but this will be a add break, yes, or BR tag. That's what we're going to do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a shortcut version of this, so we will not create another constant, etc., etc., just to not waste too much time. Say here document. I'm just going to copy this chunk of code. Then we just say here and then BR. Save this. Let's double check if this works. Oh, I realize it does not work. Am I correct? Why it doesn't work? Alright, it doesn't work because this is here. We have this. Why is this here? Alright, we have a justified content. Here we get a slight issue because probably this is going to become a big problem for us. How can we solve this quickly? Well, I have to double check this. I was not expecting this issue here, of course, so I'm going to remove this for now. This is not what we need. So why is this an issue? Because we're working here with CSS, and CSS is right now counteracting what we did here. This is the deflex here, and I guess this deflex should not be here because it's now counteracting here, and this should basically, this deflex should now be in here, nested within here, so this should be here differently. So I hope you understand. If you understand CSS, you will understand that this display flex, basically the flex box, should not be in here because I need this one and I need basically something else nested within here with a display flex. So I'm going to check how we're going to do this. We probably need to work with another item in here. Alright, so well, I was expecting this would be a challenge, so bear with me. So what we're going to do in here, and we're going to look at basically this one here. The order item is now the problem maker. And what I need to do is I need to elevate that one, meaning I need to make basically this part should go down here. There should be something else in here, and this should be, there should be another tag in here. So let's look at this. So we're going to search here for the list item. This is the one that's becoming an issue. To simplify this, I'm going to just create a trick. Alright, so bear with me. I'm going to create a new item here. This will be the list item. And this list item, I will call the list item parent, meaning that this should be one level up. And this one is basically the list item child, but it's not a list item anymore. The best way to do this is to basically make this a span. I'm not sure how this will respond, so I'm going to create a span first and save this. And if I refresh here and click on this, alright, it just works as expected. You can see now this is just a span. It just works exactly the same, but it's a span. But of course we're missing the li. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put in the li. So this parent here, let's scroll down here. Let's see here. Should be in there. This becomes, of course, a massive challenge here. This is not anymore an li tag. This is now a span tag. This here is also a span tag. And now, what we have to do, let's see, attach it to the span tag. So what I'm going to say here, well, this one could be just in here, doesn't matter so much. I'm going to say here, this parent, then we say here, append child. And what is the child? Well, in this case, you already know the order item is the child. If I save this and refresh, let's see if it responds as expected. Alright, it still does not respond correctly. So order append child of order item. Alright, so maybe I need to move this one at the very bottom, or well, let's save this one more time and refresh just to be sure. Am I really doing it correctly? What am I missing here? Deflex. Alright, so this will be not here. And why are we not working? So if I'm going to move this down, I'm going to put it at the very, very end here. Save this. I should expect. Alright. Something is happening, but not 100%. And I figured out why. Alright. So the reason why is because the order item, which is basically the new span we created, is connected to the order list. This is the one that is becoming the issue. Alright, so what we're going to do here, let's double check this. So this one should be in here, and this parent must be in the order item because we're going one level up. So I hope you are able to really follow along here. This is a tricky one. So let me explain here. The new created parent li, so this will be, and then here we have the span. So basically we're going to put it in here, and then this one here, the span, should go into the li again. So if I save this, and let's double check here. Oh, order list child order item parent. Alright, so let's see now if this works. Alright, so this works nicely here. Now let's see, do we have the li? Yes, we do have the li. So this is beautiful. So it starts to work. And then of course you might say, well, what happened with these buttons? Well, the issue with the buttons is now minor because now I can move it below here. Because we have now this span. This span is here. So we can now put it in the li. So we have this one here. Where is the li? It's called the order item parent. And this one will be in the order item parent. Very simple. Save this, refresh, press, there we are. So now it works, but you can see here now, of course, we're breaking a lot of code in here. So what I want to do first is just to design this, and then we have to later on figure out here, because you can see here, if we press on it, it does respond, but of course it gives an error, because it's doing stuff that we should not do. So this is very important, but we're breaking a lot of the items. Let's see here. Let's see what we're going to do here. So this we have there. Let's start to just make the design of this item first. This item should have a simple design. Let's see. Let's give this a proper class. Create. We should have a text node as well. So I'm going to put in here. Maybe we can just simplify this. Well, I'm just going to do this. Let's look at this here. And then what I will do here, just for the sake of it, to simplify, I will say here, we have this, create a text node. Oh, well, we need to have this one. I'll just say this, say text, document, create text node. And I'll just say here, minus, do another one. This is increment. So we know that this will be a plus sign. Plus, and then what I want to do as well is the class. We're going to add up the class item as well. Alright, I'll just copy this. Put it in here and we say deflex. Alright, no, I don't want this. What I really want is very simple. I'm going to say here the button. This button should have a specific class. I'll just put it here. We have this, and we have another one as well, which would be the increment. So the increment here, what will it have? The increment will be btn, maybe btn small, and then btn of course, and then btn for button, by the way. Success, this is for increment, making it item, and then we have another one btn, and it should be should it be red? Maybe. I guess I'll make it danger right now, although I don't like it because why? We have here also a column. So maybe we have something else here, I'm not sure. Should we have this a circle shape, or should we have like this? I think like this probably more appropriate to have it at least different from this. So we say this is a rounded pill. So I'm going to copy this, and once I copy this, put it in there, save this, refresh, press. Alright, we have this, but the buttons are not what I expected, and I probably need to have some padding or pixel between margin between here. So what we're going to do here, we say this at the text, but the text was not being added on here. So what we need to do here, let's copy this. I'm going to put in this, and now we don't want this. Now we want the button of decrement and the button of increment. What we're really going to do is we're going to add up the text information. So we did this. Alright, save this, refresh. Click, there we are. So I notice that this has maybe, it needs some padding or some width as well. What I'm going to do here, let's say this padding X, and this padding X will be 2. I think that will be more than sufficient. And then what I want to have at least is a margin. Margin left, from the left side, it will be 3. Oh, sorry, this is not margin left. So margin left is of course margin start. MS 3 is maybe too big, but let's see. Refresh, click. Oh, alright, so that is not what I want. Probably because we are here on this item here. Oh, that's the increment button. Sorry, increment button should not be. Should be on the decrement button, because the decrement button is at the end here. Refresh. There we are. I don't like it. I think a margin start of 1 would be more sufficient. All right. There we are. Although I do notice here there's something here, and for some reason you can see here the selection here is being clipped off, same as this here. I will accept that for now, but I do not like the width here. The padding is probably too narrow. Let's try padding 3. Padding 3 here as well. I don't like it so much, but I will accept this for now. So it's slightly different from this design because we want to make sure that this is a plus and minus, and maybe this must be font weight bold. So let's make this a font weight bold. Same here. Save that, refresh. There we are. So now we have this, but of course we broke a lot of our JavaScript. Now it's really time to solve that one. At least the clear works. But what I want to do here, delete this, and this of course should delete the entire, or at least this entire section now. So I will work on that on the next video, where we start to remove that and fix the JavaScript related to this.